Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Before I Do, the show that shares with you everything that should be done before saying I do. My name is Walter Jennings.
My name is Charmaine Jennings.
And we are your Couples Academy practitioners. Our honor, our privilege, our job is to help facilitate courageous conversations on dating and relationships.
Mm-hmm. And this show is meant to be interactive. So when we pose a question or guess what? Tonight is Q&A.
Yep.
So you get to pose your question. We're your experts. You get to ask us whatever you want and we will respond. And so that's the way this show goes tonight. So it is literally speak now forever or forever hold your peace. So please speak now. Like now. So go and find the chat area and post a question. We would love to answer your questions. We would love to connect with you, engage with you, and really hear what's on your heart, what's going on in your relationship and with yourself or your relationship with a romantic partner, and let us know how we can support.
Every last Wednesday here and Before I Do is Speak Now Q&A night. So be sure to put your questions in the comment section and we look forward to addressing them. And one of the things that Charmaine loves to say is that even if you are not in an intimate relationship with someone else, you are always in a relationship with yourself.
That's right.
And so the question then becomes, what are you doing to love on you? What are you doing to take care of you? What are you doing for self-care?
I have to say it. Hold on. I have to interject and say it. What have you done for you lately? Yes.
So what are you doing for you? And I have to admit that this past weekend, I actually did do something for me.
Okay.
Yes,
well,
I am a part. Absolutely.
What
so
did you do for you?
am a part of the FOUNDRY program in Couples Academy. It is a men's enrichment empowerment program. And this particular experience this past weekend was a gathering of men from all over the world. There were men there from all over the United States, men there from the UK, and we came together. It was not a retreat. It was not a conference. It literally was an experience.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm telling you, it was absolutely amazing.
I can believe this.
Yep.
And I'm going to say that because, there's research after research after research that says that men, y'all don't go to counseling, y'all don't get together and do things like that, unless y'all are forced to do it. And so talk to us about what this experience was like.
Sure. So first of all, what I will say to you is that the 50 men that attended this past weekend would vehemently disagree. So the FOUNDRY experience was a weekend. It was a weekend in Georgia where, again, many of us have only met one another and interacted with each other online for the past 8 to 10 months. And so some of us come from the FOUNDRY experience. Some of us were the original men of the Couples Academy. So some of Hassani and Danielle's, some of their first men as a part of the program. And then my brother Jeff Witt, his Society of Learned Men. So all of those groups confluenced together on this amazing experience. We actually did some combat training.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was called Kali, which was absolutely amazing. Shout out to my man Angola. Also had a speaker by the name of Sam from California, from the Warrior Project, which was amazing. We also had a doctor come in to talk to us about cardiovascular health.
Hold on.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
I can't.
Yep.
So.
Yes, that's right.
Y'all actually had conversations.
Yep.
About your health.
About health and wellness.
About keeping yourself right so you can live.
That's right.
You can live up to your 80s and 90s and
that's right.
Still have everything functioning and working. And
that's right.
That's good. All right. So ladies, let's not, stereotype and definitely assume that again, men, you want to get yourself connected again with programs like this that are really pushing you to be and to have a better relationship with yourself. So very powerful.
Yes.
I'm super excited about that. And I will admit, I'm reaping the benefits. My husband came home super excited, just invigorated.
Ring the bell for that.
Okay.
Ring the bell if you're reaping benefits.
I did.
Let them know.
Came home excited, happy, rejuvenated. And so it was just awesome to see you really enjoy yourself and to be around a bunch of like-minded men who are really about the business of just wealth. I mean, wealth and wellness.
Yes.
Those two things.
So again, just as an encouragement, again, we're here to encourage you in your understanding intimate relationships with others. But again, that starts with you understanding that you are in a relationship with yourself and working on yourself. And so we encourage you to explore the Foundry program here at Couples Academy. Also, for those of you ladies who may be listening, Unearth is a great program as well that will help you to really encourage and to strengthen yourself. So absolutely. Yeah.
So there are programs here at Couples Academy. So what are you waiting on? Call, like, share, subscribe, call your friend, because you know some of y'all won't sign up if you don't know nobody. So you know, convince your girlfriend. It's 2023. Convince your guy friends. It's time. It's time to take care of our health and wellness. That is a part of your wealth. So I know I mentioned wealth and wellness, but it is wealth. So the health of your life, your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, all of those things are going to greatly afford you a wealthy life. So
absolutely. So once again, here on Before I Do, tonight is Speak Now Q&A night. Please be sure to put your questions or comments in the chat. We're going to take a really quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with your questions right here on Before I Do. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight is Speak Now Q&A night right here. And so we are excited to have your questions. And so be sure to put those in the chat. And we actually have some comments that are coming in. Shout out to Laquita. Hey. Laquita says, hey. Remind me, Queet, next time I see you for me to tell you one of my favorite jokes about that exact word. And then Lindsay says,
don't
I have to, yes, please
it's
remind
so
me. I know, that's why I can't say it online. All right, Lindsay says, what? Combat training, heart health sounds like an amazing event. Absolutely, Lindsay. Yes. It was absolutely amazing. And so if there is a man in your life that you would like to recommend Foundry to, be sure that you do that. And speaking of that, my man, Antony actually was one of the brothers that I got a chance to meet at the Foundry experience this past weekend. He says, we can't wait to get counseling from you and your lovely wife, Charmaine. Foundry experience was amazing, brother. Brother, it was so incredible meeting you. I really enjoyed our conversations. Your heart, we are definitely looking forward to building with you and Alicia. And so thank you so much, man. Definitely looking forward to it. Lindsay, so this actually is the answer, Laquita. You said, do they have something like this for women? Absolutely they do. And Lindsay has your answer right here. Yes, it is called Unearth. So Unearth is a empowerment program specifically for women that is brought to you by the Couples Academy. It is led by the CEO of Couples Academy, Miss Danielle Pettiford.
So I love to say that name. You have to say it with prestige.
I mean, it
to
requires
honor her queendom. Yes, Danielle Pettiford.
I think it calls you to say it in that way.
Yes.
So yes, so Unearth, actually, again, you can learn more about Unearth and Foundry on couplesacademy.com. So be sure to definitely check that out.
All right. And tonight is Q&A. So that was a great question. And so, yes, check us out on couplesacademy.com. So many services. This is a real treat yourself. You know how we say treat yourself? You go out and eat the ice cream and the cupcake. No, pour into you. You are going to be in a relationship with you for the rest of your life. So pour into you. And tonight is Q&A. And so
we got some questions from people that are not necessarily on here, but some that are offline. You all can't see these questions in the chat. So we're going to read them to you. So
right. And you know what? And join in. So if someone has a question and you have some life experience, which we know you do, go ahead and weigh in. We want to hear from you as well. So this first question is, should you accept your partner the way they are?
I think that's a really great question. Now, and I know that part of the premise of a question like this is really accepting your partner, and flaws and all is one thing, but oftentimes when we date someone, we are dating them based on their potential, not just who they are, but what we believe that they can be. And that can oftentimes be very unfair to that person, because we again are setting our expectations for them. And so that can be something very unfair, because it may be something that they may not necessarily even be striving for or want to accomplish and do. Now, with that being said, it does create an opportunity for conversations with the individual that you're in a relationship with, and speaking some of the things that you do observe and see in them. Oftentimes people aren't able to really see some of the potential in things within themselves. It takes sometimes the outside perspective and the person that you're in a relationship to call attention to those things, and that they are possible. Charmaine and I, we talk a lot about individuals and how their foundational family and their culture really sometimes can limit and minimize what they think they're able to accomplish and see. And so I know this is a long answer to the question, and the long answer is yes, you need to accept people for who they are, but recognize that if you are in someone's life and you are seeing something in them, if you see a potential, if you see something that they actually would be adept and have the potential of doing, you want to speak to that. But you want to be careful that you do not allow that to become an expectation that tethers you to them in an unhealthy way. So you really have to be careful about how you navigate being with someone just based on their potential.
Yeah, that whole potential thing can be a very challenging area. And in our sessions, one thing that we love to do with couples is, one, it's important to make sure that both individuals, like Walter said, you come into the relationship, you need to have a strong relationship with self. And most couples don't. Most couples, sometimes they're relying on this myth of this person is going to complete me. This person is going to be the 50% of me that I don't have right now. And all of those things are definitely kind of false narratives. You want to be the best version of yourself. And so while, yes, I accept Walter as he is when he came to the relationship, there was a level of acceptance he had for me. But the question becomes is, does accepting you the way you are mean that you get to stop right there? Like, did he have permission to stop way back when I met you in
1997?
Ooh.
It was 96.
It was 1996. December of 1996. So did he get to just stop? Did you get to just stop putting in the work? Because, that's how you met me. And no, the bottom line is our fingerprint. Yes, you are uniquely designed. That is, there's a lot of things about your personality, your culture, your experiences that are ingrained, your DNA. There's a lot of things that make you you. And yes, your partner should accept that fingerprint. But your footprint, you got work to do. You got places to go. You got things to do to walk and operate in your purpose and your calling. And you have not reached the best version of yourself yet. And so while we accept people's fingerprint, what I'm going to challenge you to do, but their footprint, they got work to do. You have expectations and standards for their growth because they have not yet reached the best version of themselves.
Yeah, potential is nothing unless it is turned into production. So potential potential is great, but it must be converted into production. And the only way that is done is through work, growth, and change. And so you have to be committed to having and adopting a growth mindset. So as Charmaine mentioned, getting into they say that when when a man and a woman gets married, that a man goes into the marriage hoping that things don't change, and the woman goes into the marriage hoping that things will, excited that things will. So you've got this conflict immediately within it when it comes to, again, the expectations of what is. And so the question becomes, as we like to say in our premarital, where do your values and your principles lie and align? And then also too, when it comes to growing, separate from your partner, does this individual have a growth mindset?
Yes.
My growth is not dependent necessarily upon Charmaine. It is my responsibility as an individual. Same thing with Charmaine. Even if we weren't married, she would be pushing towards, I'm certain, being the boss woman that she is. And I would definitely be a king and franchise player that I am. And so that is something that you want to make sure that the individual that you're in a relationship with is pushing towards being their best self. All right. So we actually have a comment. Yeah, we actually got a question and comment from Lindsay. Lindsay says that I actually am walking through a divorce, but I have decided I am going to continue my progress. I know I need to heal from this season of life, but I would like to be married again one day.
Amen.
What are a couple of major points to tackle when healing from divorce? I want to prepare for to be a healthier wife in the future.
Well, the first thing, Lindsay, first of all, thank you for doing the work. This time is for you, and in this healing journey, it really is a blessing to be able to really get back to the core of you, the essence of your joy, the essence of the things that were given to you, really in childhood. People are like, oh gosh, they always go to childhood, but the bottom line is there were some things in childhood that were gifts given to you that really supported you. For some people, it's like, man, I used to always roller skate. I really used to love roller skating. I really used to love reading books and just getting lost in a book and reading. Some people, it's like, I used to love being outside. It's something about having the sun on your face. So during this season, when you talk about love, and really, we have another question about that, but it goes back to, what does loving you look, feel, and sound like? This is a season where you get to be the leader in the very things that you want. And so you said that, in the future, you are open to love and marriage again. And so this is a season where you are being the drum major. You are being the leader and loving you. And so what that means is, what are some places you want to go? Don't wait. Don't wait for the person to take you, but be the leader in those things. You want vulnerability, be the leader in that. You want to go out on certain dates, be the leader in those things. Because again, a lot of times during the season, people are not healing. They're just kind of passing the time, waiting for the next opportunity to love someone else. And while you are becoming a professional at loving someone else and catering to them, there can be an expectation for them to be ready and prepared to love you and cater to you. And we live in a society where often there are more individuals ready to take than individuals who are ready to give. And I don't want you running into the takers. I think the takers are outnumbering the givers in 2023. So I want you to be intentional and just love on you in this season. Be the leader in loving you right now. And really having a sense of safety and security and just spending time with yourself.
Yeah, Lindsay, what I will say is that, first of all, thank you so much for your question. And also, we wish you well in this journey that you're walking through. Obviously, it's painful, but one of the main things that is important is for you to take the time to not only rediscover yourself, as Charmaine mentions, but to walk through the healing process of also extracting the lessons that you needed to learn from this marriage. Everything that you need to take with you, sifting through some of the pain, being able to recognize what part of, I don't want to say blame, but I have to say blame, because when a marriage falls apart, it doesn't just fall on one person. There's ownership on both parts of that marriage dissipating the way that it does. So being able to figure out exactly what part and role you played in that, so that the lessons can be implemented as you move forward. Often people will move from one marriage or one relationship to another without really taking the time to learn those lessons. And what it ultimately leads to is another failed marriage. And what statistics say is that from your first marriage to your second marriage, there's a 10% increase that marriage will fail. And from your second marriage to your third marriage, there's another 10% there's another 10% that marriage will not fail as well. So it's very important, critical, that you ensure that you get to know yourself, and also that you really extract all the lessons from that marriage before you move forward when it comes to dating and remarrying again.
And get the support, because really in this world of counseling and supporting others, there are at least 17, when we talk about behavioral therapy in the brain, right? There are 17 different types of errors in thinking. We call it cognitive distortion. And so we want to make sure that you are not, there's so many of them, but we want to make sure, first of all, that absolute thinking, that right wrong thinking, blame placing, fortune telling, like there's so many types of cognitive distortions. And what that means is it's errors in our thinking. And sometimes when we have been hurt or bruised or from a relationship, we want to make sure we get the help that we need, so we don't go into the second relationship with that thinking. And usually that's what happens when people don't do their work and they go into another relationship. They take that same thinking with them. They take the same behaviors. They take the same emotional trauma without making sure, they've truly healed. And are we healed if we're not tested?
Yeah. And part of the challenge is too, because it's easy after the first relationship to blame the problems and the fact that it didn't work out on the person.
Right.
Now, if the second marriage and relationships fail, now that is a telltale sign that your thought process and your strategies may not necessarily be as strong as you think that they are. So it's really important to go through that process. All right, Charmaine, you ready? Because we got this is one of those new age questions. I'm telling you now. Okay. You're not gonna like it, so brace yourself. I'm just telling you. All right, so this is 2020. Right, this is 2020 Spice Production. She says, "My girlfriend proposed to me on date night. Should it be the other way around? A gentleman proposed to his girlfriend, or does it not matter in 2023?"
Okay, I understand why he prepped me for this question.
I had to prepare you.
Okay, so first of all, we talk about it all the time. I have a fingerprint. Walter has a fingerprint. When we both came together, the uniqueness of our relationship you can go through thousands of couples and not find a couple with our uniqueness because of our fingerprints. We have different personalities. We come from different walks of life, cultural backgrounds. That is why every couple is unique. So that's a long answer to this question, that if it works for you, So I really want to ask you the question: how did you feel? Did your girlfriend proposing to you, did that somehow take you outside of your norm, your cultural norms? Did you want to be the one to propose? And so if it's right for the two of you, then it's right. When we counsel couples, especially, we specialize in premarital counseling and the pre work of relationships. It goes back to what works for the two of you, not what for your mama and your daddy and your grandparents and all those traditions. You two are building something unique, something that hasn't been built before. And so as specialists, what we do is make sure that you are clear about who you are, the uniqueness of what you bring into your relationship, to really establish a strong foundation. And so if you were excited, and I think it's okay. Now, it's different from, I'm old school. So, I can't say that I would have proposed to Walter. Or Walter, would you have been okay with me proposing to you?
I would not have. And I actually I was getting ready to go. I am going to tread lightly, but I am going to tell the truth. Okay. So the long answer is, I think you want to be very careful of this symbolizing and reflecting headship, leadership, and authority.
That's right.
In the relationship. So we are both, as far as our background is, we're spiritual as it relates to us. So that would not have worked for me, because of my spiritual foundation and my belief. I believe that the husband, the man, is the individual that is responsible for his wife as it relates to protecting her. And so here's what we believe. Part of the reason why the man proposes to the woman is because what I am saying to you is that I want to cover you under my headship. I want to protect you. I want to support you. I want to provide for you. I want to make sure that you are safeguarded in every area of your life. part of the reason, and I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of game. So you know how they say that a man should go to a woman's father before he proposes? Do you know why that is? I am going to tell you. Because on the spiritual side, right, in a family structure, the husband or the father is the one that is responsible for protecting and taking care of that family. What you are doing as a man, when you go to that father, you are saying that I want to remove your daughter from your care to my care. That is what that courtesy and conversation is about. That is the reason why that protocol is in place. And so that is part of covering. That is part of responsibility. And again, I know these times and the world that we live in right now, that there are some shifting when it comes to gender roles and response and the way we see those things. But I do think you have to be careful on what those things really symbolize or mean within the context of your relationship. Yeah. So making sure that you gain clarity in that, because again, when it comes to the roles and responsibilities that you're going to play, you may be setting yourself up for something that you do not expect as the basis of your marriage.
For example, we have a 19-year-old we have a 20-year-old daughter. She just turned 20 this year, and our eldest child, and she's dating, and courting, and in her early years of dating under our roof, I will always tell her, I will admit I'm a little closeted, feminist, and I would tell her, I'm kind of traditional, and I'd be like, don't be chasing after these boys because that's the culture. She's like, oh, Mom, you're so old. Like, no, it's okay. And she, would tell me about her, her generation, and that it's very fluid in the sense that it's okay if girls ask guys out and things like that. Okay, cool. And I'm old school mama, like, okay, we're gonna see how this works. And now that she's 20, and she was saying that, yeah, Mom, every guy that she like approached and they wind up dating, she said that they wind up always throwing it back up in her face, like, well, you the one shot, you the one approached me, you took your shot. And there was almost this point of arrogance, almost.
You don't need me. I don't need you. You need me.
Yeah, because you came for me. And so now in her queendom and in her being 20, she definitely has said, oh yeah, I learned some lessons. And believe me, now she operates and moves very different as a woman. She's like, oh yeah, I expect a man to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. She sees our relationship. She's like, oh no, my standard is here. It will not move. And I expect, as a king's kid, that I am going to be honored in the way that I'm deserved to be honored. So
absolutely. Yeah. And I think we got one more question. So, oh wow, okay. So is love overrated?
Is love overrated?
When it comes to a marriage?
Oh, well, I guess to answer this question, is love overrated?
It depends on how you define it.
There it is. It goes back to the definition of love. And I'm sorry, it's not overrated for me. I mean, it's one of those things. We're believers, so we believe love is patient, it is kind, it's selfless. I want to get to that place and to really be overwhelmed by that agape love, that selfless love, and I know that I have that spiritually. I want to operate in the fullness of that for everyone, right? And so that is a process. That's a process of getting to that place where, man, you are experiencing love in an overwhelming way. So I don't think love is overrated. I think that when you have truly experienced it, man, I mean, there's not a drink of alcohol that can compare to it. There is not a sexual position that can like, love is amazing.
Absolutely.
And just the sense of peace and the fullness and the joy and when you have truly experienced that agape, unconditional, I could never say it's overrated.
Well, you're getting into what I was going to say is that I think love can be overrated when your definition is skewed. When you don't have a definition that moves past the superficial. And part of the concern that we have in this day and age is now it's cool to be married again. I'm gonna call some names that everybody knows. You see Jay-Z and Beyonce, you see Cardi B and Offset. It's cool to be married again. It's cool to be young and married. But the question becomes, what is that love built upon? What is the foundation of your relationship and your marriage set upon? Is it based upon what you have? Is it based upon materialistic things? Is it based on fame? Is it based on finances? What is your definition of love?
Or
really?
Is it political?
Exactly. Is it political?
We just social media personalities, and we just really,
and I'm not alluding to those couples that I mentioned basing their relationship on that. But what I'm saying is that we have to be very careful of not allowing our love to be based on things that are temperamental, that are not permanent, that are not part of our value system and our principles. When you love someone because they have a great job, when you love someone because they're cute, because those things can be taken away.
Yeah.
And will your love fade when those things begin to shift? And so you have to be very careful. We believe, again, when it comes to love, that love we are constantly moving towards the agape love,
yes,
which is that unconditional love. That's that love that says that no matter how you acting, no matter how you look,
that's right.
that music soul child, I love you when your hair turns gray. I love you if you gain a little weight. You know what I mean?
And that all happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
That all happens. I do not, when I look at the scale, I just, I have to rebuke some things. The number not going to pop up like it used to pop up a decade ago or the decade before that. So, yes, we're going to change. Mm-hmm. This is a life story. We talk about building. We help our couples to see, we ask them, do you want a love story or do you want a life story? Mm-hmm. Now, a life story, we consider that something that, again, you expect to be in this for a lifetime. And
what we will say, too, is that your marriage and your relationship must be built on ingredients other than love.
Yes.
And I know that sounds confusing. Love is the glue that holds you together. But what is it holding together?
Yeah,
so we're talking again about values, principles. Why are you all together? What is it that you've been brought together to accomplish and do? What is it that I'm supporting Charmaine in her individual purpose in doing? What is it that she's supporting in my individual purpose in doing? And so it is not as simple as just love, but it is also tied to that purpose, and it's tied to the destiny that you all are building together.
Absolutely.
Hey, y'all. So it looks like we got some more comments here, but Miss Barbara is going in. Yeah. Barbara said, old school.
We with you, Miss Barbara.
And based on God, and Darlene is giving us a thumbs up. And yes, you all. So you're tuned into Before I Do. Thank you all so much for checking out the show tonight. Don't forget, each and every single last Wednesday is our Speak Now Q&A night. And you can also find us here every Wednesday night at 9:30, bringing up and talking about topics that are relevant to relationships and dating. My name is Walter Jennings.
My name is Charmaine Jennings.
And be sure to like, share, and subscribe at couplesacademy.com. And you know what? Shouldn't they book us for a session?
You really should book us for a session. We want to get to know you, and we want to make sure that, most importantly, you know yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you're in a relationship, come on, test us out. Take a pulse check. I know you probably think you know everything about your partner, but I can guarantee you we are the specialists to help you and support you in the things that lie ahead.
Absolutely. And Tony and Alicia, we look forward to seeing y'all soon. Everyone, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Before I Do. We'll see y'all next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.